The Lex Fridman Podcast. They had Tucker Carlson on. They was talking about the war in Ukraine on the episode. They was talking about America funding the war in Ukraine. They was talking about his interview with Vladimir Putin in Russia and how he looked at the infrastructure of Russia. How when he went to the grocery store, he seen that the prices was way lower than Americans' prices. He seen that they wasn't dealing with inflation, even though they have sanctioned Vladimir Putin's money in America, his earnings. He doesn't even need it. The country don't even need it. They're not dealing with lack. He talked about how clean the country was in comparison to the United States. Y'all know, man, boy, when I visited LA a couple of years ago, it was a couple of months ago when I was in LA. Let me quit saying visited because I'm there frequently and going to be there more frequently. But when I was in LA, it was the filthiest place I ever been in my life. Like I couldn't breathe. It was dirty. And why is that? Why do we have to live like that in America? He was talking about how he felt safer in the streets of Russia than he does in the United States. Why do we deal with such poverty in the richest country in the world? Why is it so much homelessness in the richest country in the world? Why is it just the way it is, period? And he explained some things like, we are being lied to, dog.
The central planning point is really interesting, but I don't know where you're coming from. There's a capitalist system. I mean, the United States is one of the most successful capitalist systems in the history of Earth. So
it's the most successful. I'm just saying that I think it's changed a lot in the last 15 years and that we need to update our assumptions about what we're seeing.
Sure.
And that's true up and down. That's true with everything. It's true with your neighbor's children who you haven't seen in 3 years and they come home from Wesleyan and you're like, oh, you've grown. That is true for the world around us as well. And most of our assumptions about immigration, about our economy, about our tax system are completely outdated if you compare them to the current reality. And so I'm just for updating my files, and I have a big advantage over you because I am middle-aged, and so I don't...
You've called yourself old so many times throughout this
I don't trust my perceptions of things, so I'm constantly trying to be like, is that true?
Yeah.
I should go there. I should see it. And I guess just in the end, I trust direct perceptions. Like, I don't trust the internet, actually. Wikipedia is a joke. Wikipedia could not be more dishonest. It's certainly in the political categories or things that I know a lot about. Occasionally I read an entry written about something that I saw or know the people involved. And I'm like, well, that's a complete liar. You left out the most important fact. And it's like, it's not a reliable guide to reality or history. And that will accelerate with AI, where history, our perception of the past is completely controlled, and distorted. So I think just getting out there and seeing stuff and seeing that Moscow was not what I thought it would be, which was a smoldering ruin, rats in a garbage dump. It was nicer than New York. What the hell?
Direct data is good, but it's challenging. For example, if you talk to a lot of people in Moscow or in Russia and you ask them, is there censorship? They will usually say, yes, there is.
Oh, yeah, of course there is. Well, I agree. I mean, just to be clear, I have no plans to move to Russia. I think I would probably be arrested if I moved to Russia. Ed Snowden, who is, the most famous sort of openness, transparency advocate in the world, I would say, along with Assange, doesn't want to live in Russia. He's had problems with the Putin government. He's attacked Putin. They don't like it. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying, what are the lessons for us? And the main lesson is we are being lied to, in a way that's bewildering and very upsetting. I was mad about it all 8 days I was there.
I traveled outside the country for the first time in my life 2 years ago, and I seen some things differently. I love the United States, and I wish that our country could unite. The main word, the first word in the United States of America. Why don't we just change it to the divided states of America? Because we're so caught up in this political party, the Democrats, the Republicans, when the left wing and the right wing is actually the same bird. But I just want things to be different. I want to see things evolve. He spoke also about crime and how crime can be resolved, but it's so profitable that we don't want to resolve it. We don't want to resolve crime. And you know, I come up in impoverished communities to the status and the level I'm at now in life, and I've seen people seek finances, seek power over one another. And when I look at that, that's the opposite of uniting. I would like to see our people want to help each other grow, help each other become more knowledgeable, help each other have a purpose in life. Your purpose might not be the same as mine, but I want to see you achieve the purpose that you have for your life, that you see for yourself. And our leaders don't want that. Our leaders like crime because it's profitable. Our leaders see dirty cities and they'll say that that's a sign of freedom, when it's really not, dog. Here's Tucker, some more of the conversation.
You said leaders kill, leaders lie.
Yeah. I don't believe in leaders very much. Like this whole Zelensky's Jesus and Putin's Satan. It's like, no, they're all leaders of countries. Okay. Like, grow up a little bit, you child. Have you ever met a leader? Like, first of all, anyone who seeks power is damaged morally, in my opinion. You shouldn't be seeking power. You can't seek power or wealth for its own sake and remain a decent person. That's just true. So there aren't any like really virtuous billionaires, and there aren't any really virtuous world leaders. You have grades of virtue. Some are better than others for sure. But I mean, in other words, Zelensky may be better than Putin. I'm open to that possibility. But to claim that one is evil and the other is virtuous, it's like you're revealing that you're a child. You don't know anything about how the world actually is or what reality is. Like it's
That's quite a realist perspective, but there is a spectrum.
There's Fridman Jackson Podcast.
I remember when I was young, I used to look at presidents and people that was leaders, teachers, community people, bus drivers, police officers, as people who contributed to helping me get to where I want to get to. You know, like a teacher taught me. They cared. They cared about my well-being and my evolution, me growing as a person. Now I see people want those positions, not teachers or whatever, but presidents, directors, VPs of companies, and presidents of the United States, senators, mayors. They want that because they want a sense of power and stability over other people, to see themselves as more than you. And that's wrong. That's not morally correct, like what Tucker was saying. People will strive and die and work and stay on their computer and read 1,000,000 books to try to achieve and out-achieve you so they can obtain power. But that's not what it's about. When you get those roles, you are a public servant. That's why those roles pay less. That's why Trump don't need to be president. Oh, we talking about Trump. This is crazy. Trump don't need to be president for the financial thing, for the $400,000 a year. Is that what they still pay the president, $400,000 a year? Because I remember that was going around the internet around the time Bush was president. He don't need that $400,000 a year. He don't want the salary. He'll remove the salary, and he wants that position for the power. And that power is not morally correct. Let's listen to Tucker some more.
Just wanted to hear his perspective. Again, I've probably asked more asshole questions than like any living American. You know, I'm, as has been noted correctly, I'm a dick by my nature. And so I just feel at this stage of my life, I didn't need to prove that I could, like, Vladimir Putin, answer the question.
Sure, for sure.
You know, I think if I had been, 34 instead of 54, I definitely would have done that, because I would have thought this is really about me and I need to prove myself. And also, no, I just, there's a war going on that is wrecking the U.S. economy in a way and at a scale people do not understand. The U.S. dollar is going away. That was, of course, inevitable ultimately, because everything dies, including currencies. But that process of death has been accelerated exponentially by the behavior of the Biden administration and the U.S. Congress, particularly the sanctions. And people don't understand what the ramifications of that are. The ramifications are poverty in the United States. Okay. So I just wanted to get to that, because I'm coming at this from not a global perspective. I'm coming at it from an American perspective.